I made my first $100,000 with Amazon FBA in my very first year of launching, and it completely changed my life. Like my life did a whole 180. So this is not going to be, just another video on how to do Amazon FBA. This is really about how I actually went from working, dead end jobs, crying in my car at 2 a.m., lost as hell, literally losing my hair from the stress, to actually becoming a full-time entrepreneur, running multiple brands, traveling the world, living my dream life, and helping women also, build freedom through the same exact business model that did change my life. So I'm just a regular Mexican American girl who really didn't grow up with much. I grew up without a mom. I was raised by a very hardworking single father alongside my brothers. So I didn't come from wealth. I didn't come from any, lucky breaks. In fact, at age 18, I was pretty much on my own trying to balance college, working, trying to raise my siblings as well. And I worked since I was 14 years old, okay, throughout my entire high school journey. So I've always been a little hustler. I know what it's like to feel stressed and burnt out, okay, from a pretty young age. I always felt like I was stuck in survival mode until I found out about Amazon FBA. So one thing I knew for certain though, since I was young, is I always knew deep down that I was meant for way more, but I had no idea how I was ever going to be able to get there. I had no idea. Fast forward to now, I've bought in pretty much every material thing I ever wanted to get. I bought property in Dubai. I sold that. I bought my dream car, my G wagon. I paid it off in cash. I've been traveling the world for the last 5.5 years. I've been to all my favorite dream destinations for the last 5 years. And I literally just came back from California to actually go surprise my dad with his dream car. I've been paying him every single month since he can retire. He doesn't really want to retire, but I give him money every single month. I've been funding his life for the last 5 years. And that's been my ultimate goal. Like, that's my purpose. That's actually the reason why I started Amazon FBA. I just really wanted to not only help myself get out of the cycle that I was in, but also, give my dad a life that he actually deserves. So anyways, along the way, I have made so many mistakes, okay? But I've also learned so much in the last 5.5 years. And it was all because of one main business model. So my entire life really changed in the most dramatic way. So when I learned about Amazon FBA, I literally remember driving home from one of my night jobs. Um, I was super tired. It was actually like 3 a.m. and it was really late, and I had just closed at my other job, and I was just beyond exhausted. I had to wake up really early the next day as usual, and I would go to my other job, and I just felt really drained. Like, I wasn't excited for any day. I would go to sleep feeling like I want to stay asleep. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to have to deal with the days, right? So yeah, I was pretty depressed, and I just honestly I couldn't take it anymore. But yeah, that night I pulled over on the side of the road and I just started bawling my eyes out, crying. And it's just crazy because, like, I remember that moment so well because that was definitely like my breaking point. And I was just really crying from the stress. I remember like sitting in the car, pulled over on the side of the highway, like in the pitch black, just like my hands were shaking. And I just had this moment of realization, like, oh, holy shit. Like, how the hell did I let my life get to this point? So I knew in that moment that I had to change my life. I knew I was going to do whatever it took to actually change my life. I didn't really ever want to continue to wake up and just feeling exhausted, being stuck in the same routine over and over again. I was beyond exhausted, okay? So, yeah, that night something shifted in me. And instead of actually feeling sorry for myself and feeling like a victim and feeling stuck, I realized that no one was going to come and save me. And in that moment, I made a decision, and that was that I was going to go all in and do whatever it takes to actually build, my life, build my dream life, because nobody was going to come and save me. And I really thought at that point that somebody maybe could come and save me. No guy, no rich person, no mentor, nobody. I couldn't wait for some like lucky break. So I decided that night that I would Google how to make money online and make my own path to success. And yeah, I remember sitting in my tiny little room. I was renting a room from my aunt, and I was still teary eyed that night. I didn't even go to sleep. I literally stayed up watching YouTube videos about how to make money online. And I actually stumbled across a girl who was doing Amazon FBA. And I don't know what it was about her, but it really resonated with me and just something clicked. And yeah, I researched more and more, and I saw other girls who, were just like me, talking about their success with Amazon, and they were traveling the world and they were making an absurd amount of money. Not just 20,000, $10,000 a month. That's a lot of money, right? But they were making six figures. And that's what I imagined for myself. I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want. So that night that I made the decision that I would change everything, I actually decided to pretty much quit all of my jobs. After I saved enough money, of course, continued to work these shitty jobs, saved up eventually. And yeah, I quit everything. I dropped out of college. I went all in with my dreams. That is really what I did. When I say I went all in, I mean, like, I became obsessed. I didn't care about anything else other than my success. I literally spent about 8 months just studying, just researching, just learning everything I could about this business. I bought a couple courses. I bought mini guides. I joined live webinars. I watched every YouTube video. I joined communities. I networked. I did whatever I could to learn because I knew that this was my path. And eventually I decided to use more than half my savings to join a program for about $5,000, which was very expensive, especially at the time. And at the time, that was the craziest decision that I had ever made. But I told myself, whatever happens, I literally have nothing to lose anyways, because if this does fail, I would end up right back where I am today, where I had started at the time. So why not go all in? Why not? And that's the mindset that you need to have. If you're someone watching me right now, you are resonating, girl, let this be your sign. Okay. So yeah, several months, of research later, when eventually I got to a point where I was finally ready to actually order my first product, I literally spent every single dollar I had left on it. And I didn't have any connections. I didn't have a fancy degree or any safety net, anything at all. But what I did have was commitment. I printed a giant poster that said "No Plan B" in big red letters, and I even taped it to my wall next to my mirror every single morning. That's the first thing that I would look at. So that was the mindset that I had. So when I say, I went all in, like, I really mean I went all in. Either I was going to make this work or I was going to try over and over and over again and just figure it out until it freaking worked. Because that was my only option. There was no way in hell that I could actually see myself working at a 9 to 5. I knew that that was not my path. It literally, it made me go crazy thinking that, like, that could be my path. That's how delusional I was. But you have to be delusional, okay? But yeah, here's the thing, okay? My first product didn't make me rich, okay? But it gave me proof of concept. It gave me hope. And to be honest, that was way more than enough to make me want to go even harder and double down. So that is what I did. I reinvested everything I made back into more inventory, and eventually I was able to save enough money to launch a second product. And that second product sold out within 3 weeks. Month after month, I launched, I just continued to improve. I tested different products. I mastered Amazon PPC, and I figured out what it really actually takes to be able to stand out in the marketplace. And that's what shifted everything for me. I learned how to improve products. I made them look better. And essentially, I built a premium brand that stands out and really allows you to sell for higher prices to make profit, even in the most saturated competitive categories. This is really the game changer right here, okay? So this is what actually really propelled my success at such a fast pace compared to what most people really experience on Amazon, even though they have been selling on Amazon for years. Now, by building a premium brand and charging way more than the competition, this is your way to actually succeed on Amazon, okay? Because in order to charge more, you need to build a premium brand. While everyone else, competes on price and continues to drive, the market price lower and lower, I actually price my products higher and I still get more sales. And this is really the power of branding. I mean, think of, Nike or designer handbags or Rode, Hailey Bieber. Think of these big brands. There are hundreds of brands people could choose from when they need a new pair of shoes or a bag or a cosmetic product, whatever, right? But most will still pay a higher price to buy Nike shoes or Rode products or a Louis Vuitton bag because we associate those brands with premium quality and status. Their perceived value is much higher, which eliminates most of the competition. Okay, so that's the way that we have to think about this. Now, anyways, fast forward to 5.5 years later, I've launched multiple successful Amazon FBA products, some which have, sold millions of dollars in revenue. I've been able to travel the world. I moved to my dream cities for months at a time. I've lived in Dubai. I've lived in London. I lived in LA. I lived in San Diego. I lived in Bali. I've lived in Colombia, Greece, Tulum, everywhere I ever wanted to live. And it's all because of this. And what's even more amazing is that regardless of all these things I've been able to do for myself, I feel more accomplished now because I've been able to help a lot of women. I've really been able to actually build an amazing, incredible community of ambitious women who are becoming successful Amazon sellers every single day. I get to teach everything that I wish, somebody else would have taught me. I've literally built the blueprint that I wish existed at the time for me. So yeah, what I have is a proven step-by-step blueprint that you can actually follow to accelerate your product launch without making the same silly beginner mistakes and wasting tons and tons of money on products that are just not going to sell. So I do want to say this as well. People really love to make excuses. Okay, I'm speaking to my younger self. I wish somebody would have told me this because I made a lot of excuses for myself. I used to say, I don't have time to do this. I don't have the money. I don't have the experience. I'm afraid. But anyways, I shared this little story so you can see that I also didn't have, any of those things. I was literally left alone to figure out my life from the age of 18. Okay, I had no mom. My dad left to another state to move with, someone he fell in love with. And I was alone with my brothers, paying high rent in California, trying to figure it out by myself. And yeah, it was tough for me. I had to pay, for rent, for food, for school. I had to take the bus from job to job while I was in school. Like, girl, I was struggling. So I know what it's like to struggle, okay? Life is hard. Life is hard for all of us. But I started anyways. I started, this multi-million-dollar Amazon portfolio from a little tiny room that I was renting in California. And once upon a time, I even rented a garage room from my aunt and I transformed that into a room, this garage, to save money on costs. So when I say I struggled, that's what I really did. I want you to really understand that. But yeah, I also didn't even mention on top of all of that, to top it off, I was also going through the most toxic, scary breakup of my life where I literally had to run away from this guy. Eventually, I changed my number. This was right before I started my business. I changed my number. I moved to a different country, and I still thought that this person was following me in this country, which was crazy. But anyways, I felt like after that relationship, I was worth the away more, and I didn't ever want to resort back to that. And I wasn't gonna, I knew that I wasn't just gonna get rich, okay? And I had to actually take action, scary action, messy action. And that's what really shifted everything for me. So yeah, in the end, the truth is, Amazon FBA is not easy. It is not easy. It is not a get rich quick scheme. And it's not going to happen overnight for you. But I will say it is simple. It's a simple, repeatable process that anyone can use to actually make money selling products online. All you have to do is find a product that people need using a software. You need to improve that product and you need to brand it better than the competition and launch it with a proven strategy. Now, most people do fail because, they treat it like a side hustle. They try to cut corners. They try to do everything really quickly and just see how it goes. They half-ass the process. But me, on the other hand, I really treated it like the only plan that I had because that was my reality. So that's the difference, I would say. Now, I really get to help a lot of women who are just like me, who know that they want more deep down, who know they are meant for, an abundant life one day. And they do want to live, a rich life, but they just feel lost. Maybe they have no direction. They don't know how to actually get started. So now, I get to show them exactly how to build freedom with literally just their laptop and Wi-Fi and one product, because that's all it takes is one product, without having, a warehouse, without needing to ship anything, without needing to touch anything, without having to do any labor whatsoever or even talk to any customers. And yeah, like I said, you can also do this while you're traveling. So, to me, it's not just financial freedom, but it's also time freedom. It's location freedom and actually being able to take back control of my life. And I get to do that for so many other people as well. Yeah, over the last few years, I've been able to not just help, women from America, but I get to help women from all over the world: Canada, Paris, Dubai, many parts of the US, Mexico, and of course, so many more countries as well. So if that's you, I want you to know this, okay? If you do feel stuck right now and you feel lost, if you feel like, there has to be more to life than just the route that you're taking, you are not wrong. There is so much more to life. There's so much more. There's a whole new, abundant world out there waiting for you to just focus on it. Okay. But you have to take the first step, and you have to believe that you are deserving of this life as well. Okay. You have to be willing to look stupid. You have to be willing to make mistakes, feel misunderstood, and keep going even when it gets really, really, really hard. I am no one special. I just didn't give up. Okay, I am no one special. All I did was just take massive action. So, if you are ready to stop surviving and actually start thriving, Amazon FBA is one of the best places to actually start, because you don't need a team, you don't need a huge following, and you don't need to be tech savvy whatsoever. All you need is some capital, you need Wi Fi and a laptop, and a willingness to actually learn the material. And that is why, if you are interested and you really want to do this, click the first link in the description right now to secure your spot for my next free training coming up. Now, I want to be clear. This training is only for serious action takers, and it is only for the girls who are actually ready to invest into themselves and actually create a life full of abundance. So click the link now and secure your spot, and I will see you in the next training where, I'll show you exactly how to implement this new strategy step by step.